How excited are you about the Detroit Lions?
Yeah, very excited. Incredible on that process and how they put that all together, and how they selected Brad Holmes, how they selected Dan Campbell. But you have to remember, it's not like pixie dust where it gets fixed in 1 year.
That's true.
They took their time. They built it the right way. They built through the draft. Brad Holmes is an excellent, to me, and one of the top evaluators in the draft and the type of people. And we're seeing it with this rookie class, all the way back to his first rookie class when they selected Penei Sewell, when he had a decision to make between him and Chase,
Jamar. Yeah.
Jamar Chase. And they wanted to build the offensive and defensive lines. They wanted to build from inside out. And Sewell's maybe one of the best right tackles who can go over and play left tackle just as easy, but is a cornerstone of the foundation of that offensive line. So, but that's why they've had success, and their ownership has been phenomenal on understanding the process.
That's a great picture, Debo. I want to ask
Who
you
is
about
that?
this picture. So let me ask you about this picture. I saw this on there's an app, a social media app called Instagram, Rick, and the kids use it. And that's Chris. That's your brother, Chris, there. I'm not sure who he's talking to, but behind him, you see Brad Holmes yelling. And they were getting in the elevator after the game, and they were obviously all very excited. And I think the caption was that like 15, 20 years ago, Brad Holmes was working at like a rental car place. I don't know if that's true or not, or if you know the details of that. And Chris is just sitting there talking to whomever he's talking to. But Brad was just so excited about what they'd done there and the journey he's made. And you talked about what a great evaluator he is. So we'll have to check with Chris on the details of the rental car situation. I don't know if you know about that, but I think the story is that sometimes people have to do things to get to where they want to go. That's not their ultimate end goal. I don't think he wanted to work at the rental car place for the rest of his life, but he had to do it to pay his bills. And now he finds himself the general manager of one of the best teams in the NFL.
Well, two things. One, that reminds me of the story of Byron Young, the pass rusher at Tennessee, and all the adversity that he went through to get to the success he is having right now. And a lot of times when you go through these interviews or your background on people in general, you want people that have really had to go through adversity, because that gives you a measure on how they were able to come out of that and how they were able to still succeed. So to me, tells so much about the character of a person. And I think Martin Luther King, I had this quote in my office.
We'll have to show you in a second, but Chris literally didn't budge. And Brad is so excited, and he's yelling at the top of his lungs. It's like he's at a concert. He's just going, yeah, and just unleashing all the.
And apparently the guy Chris is trying to talk to can give a rat's ass what Chris is saying anyway.
That's me and you. That's right. We're in the front, and Brad Holmes is celebrating in the back.
Yeah, and then that's like I'm the scout that sits in the corner of this podcast, and I'm trying to tell you stuff, and you're just looking at your phone.
But go ahead. You were talking about adversity and.
Yeah, Mark, I think he says you really truly measure a man's character not in times of success, but when there's adversity and how they respond to adversity. And Brad Holmes, and I can't verify that, but if he did work his way up from there to make money to become what he's become, to Byron Young, there's so many stories out there. And when you really try to dig deep into understanding people, into understanding this process, it's like player evaluations, although I'm not allowed to talk about players, but I can talk about the evaluation. The thing that fascinated me the most, and what I learned from some of the mistakes I made, was that when they have a crap game and didn't play to their standards, and all these players are on their social media and they know everybody just, how they get ripped on social media and et cetera, fans booing them, whatever. I was always curious to see the next week when they came back, did that linger, or did they have one of the best games of their season following a really crappy game that they played the week before? So interviewing players, interviewing general managers, now that we're starting this coaching process, is try to identify and have them talk to you about some of the things that they had to go through and how they overcame that. What was their process? What was their thinking? I'm sorry, I'm going off on a tangent.
No, I love it.